Okay, so we've got to have a chat because you can't make this mistake. There's some marketing magic going on, and please don't fall for these traps. There's 4 types of CPUs that you as a creator should not buy because you're gonna waste your money, it's gonna be more expensive, and actually worse. And there's better alternatives. So they might look the same, even though one is expensive, you might think, obviously this is better, actually this is worse. Let me explain.
Looking for a cheap way to license your Windows? Check out WhoKeys through the links in the video description. Make sure to use the code TN20 to get a 30% off. Paste the license to the activation settings and you're all done. This license is for Windows 10, but you can upgrade it to Windows 11 for free. They also offer Microsoft Office 19 license. Use the same code TN20 to get a 30% off. Check out whokeys.com in the video description below.
So you might be looking at a CPU upgrade, or you're just thinking about building a PC, and I've checked my affiliate reports when I can see what people have bought through my links, and I can see CPUs there that just should not be bought. So first type of CPU that you should never buy from Intel is a CPU that has an F in it. Just remember, the F means forget it, okay? Just
forget about it.
Because the F means that your CPU is not going to have iGPU inside. And you might have some gamers friends that tell you, oh, but you don't actually need iGPU because you've got a much more powerful GPU that you're going to put in. And you can tell them, you are wrong, my friend. The iGPU inside the Intel CPU is one of the best things you can buy as a creator, especially if you're a video editor, because it's going to give you so much more performance. And that's why a lot of the very famous big gamer reviews of CPUs don't actually do justice on all of their productivity or creator benchmarks. Whenever they test, creator benchmarks like Premiere Pro, they just turn the iGPU off and they never test it with the iGPU, which is wrong. And you're not actually going to get all the performance. And you might be saying, what are you talking about? Why haven't I heard about this before? Well, welcome to Tech Notice. So if you've got even a 1490 or an RTX 6000 Ada GPU, you still need the iGPU. Why? Because this iGPU gives something called QuickSync. So when you're editing on the timeline, you can scrub through the timeline. It's going to be very, very smooth, which NVIDIA can also give you, but NVIDIA has limited codec support. For example, if you're shooting on a mirrorless camera like this one over here, and the footage is H.265 422 10-bit, then there is no other machine out there that can hardware decode it smoothly. Even if you use a Threadripper PC like this one, have you seen that PC build yet? It's not going to decode it because the timeline is going to be choppy. You can't play it back even if it's like 64 cores and 350 watts. It's impossible because the codec is so hard. That's why Intel has built a little tiny iGPU in there that actually can play it back very, very smoothly. There's 2 devices that can do that, Intel iGPU and Apple M devices. AMD, NVIDIA can't do that. So next time you're choosing a CPU, please make sure that there is no F in the variant, because that will give you a huge boost in performance in timeline, but also encoding. The QuickSync really is a game changer. Have a look into that if you don't know what I mean. The second thing you shouldn't buy is a KS CPU. And let me show you what I mean. Firstly, the KS CPUs are always the i9s. So Intel makes an i9 12 or 13 or 14 900K, and then they'll sometimes release an KS version of it, which is a little bit bin, can boost a little bit higher. It's like the pinnacle of pinnacle, right? But right now what's going on is you can get an i9 13900KS in there for $660, or an i9 14900K for $520. That's $140 price gap. This cheaper CPU is actually better. And I don't know why people are buying the KSs. You shouldn't, because the 4900K is basically 3900KS, but a little bit better. And it's the same if you're looking at this on Newegg. I can see exactly the same. 3900K, look at that, 576, or 3900KS, 673. It's like $100 difference. So please don't buy the KS. So if you're looking at these on Intel Arc, you can see that most of the things are exactly the same here. You can scroll down. The only thing that's different is that the 14900K has a P-core max turbo frequency at 5.6 compared to the 5.4 on the KS. And as you can see, efficiency core is actually a little bit higher as well. The rest of them are exactly the same, so it is just a little bit better, but you're going to be paying more for the KS. So when you're looking at the KS CPU, just really make sure that you know what you're doing and make sure that the KS is the latest available, because if the KS is not the latest available, most likely the next gen i9 is going to be better than the previous gen KS, if that makes sense. But sometimes it does make sense. Let's say you were on the 13th gen and you just want the best on 13th gen at that moment and you want to buy the KS. Well, that's all right then at that point, but make sure you know what you're doing, because you might be able to save quite a lot of money by not buying the KS, if that makes sense. Which leads me to the third point, is 14th gen. Now, you might be thinking, and I've seen a lot of comments in the comment section that are saying, I'm going to go with the 14600K, and I'm like, please don't, because why? Again, why exactly? There's some kind of a conception that the 14th gen, the new generation, this is the latest, this is the best one available there. But you really have to look at the pricing. Check out the 13600K or 14600K, the i5s from 13th and 14th gen, or the i7s or i9s. Compare the price between these two, because the performance difference at absolute maximum is about 5%, most likely 2-3%. In some rare cases, maybe 7% at absolute maximum. So they're basically the same thing, just the new generation. But I mean, since when did you have a new generation with 5% increase? That's ridiculous. So most likely you should avoid the 14th gen. The only exception is 14700K, which actually has some core increase as well in multi-core performance if you're doing a lot of CPU rendering. But check out the price, what the price of the 13th gen is, because you might be able to actually buy that one. And just stay away with 14th gen is the general golden rule, unless it is sometimes cheaper. Because right now in the UK, apparently the 14th gen is cheaper than the 13th gen. So go with the 14th gen. But you need to know that the 14th gen is not the fastest, even though it's the latest. It might not make sense to you. Check out my individual videos of the i9, i7 and i9 or 14th gen to find out. And the last thing is the X3D chips from AMD. I've seen some PCs, SI is making PCs called content creation and gaming PC with an X3D chip, and I'm thinking, they obviously haven't done their research. If you did, you wouldn't say that this X3D chip is a content creation CPU. AMD themselves says that X3D is the one where you can do gaming and content creation all together at the same time. But then the non-3D version of the same CPU, like the 7950X versus 7950X3D CPU, the X variant is actually often faster, even though the X3D chip is more expensive, because the X3D has lower clock speeds, and the way the cache is in there, it actually, for creative applications, there's literally no performance there. And that's why I haven't actually got them in on the studio, because I thought it's waste of time or waste of money for me to just spend it on there to tell you. Puget Systems have done a great article on that. Feel free to check them out. Matt, big thumbs up for Matt. Have a look at those benchmarks there. Really, there is no difference. And actually, in some of the cases, it's slower. So it's not really a content creation CPU. It is a gaming CPU that you say you can do both, but really doesn't make any sense. Why would you pay more? Knowing these 4 types of CPUs that you shouldn't buy would actually save you money and give you better performance as well. So you're welcome. And if you do want to build yourself the best bang for buck creator PC, then there's free build guides in the description below. Whatever your budget is, there's one for you over there. Thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.